And we are back, baby. We are
Hey,
back after three
here we are.
weeks. Right.
Finally.
It feels like forever. And it's so
It
fun to be
does.
back on the screen with you.
Mm-hmm.
And today we have a special topic that's relevant literally right now: psychological
Yeah, a lot going on.
operations. And
Mhm.
what we're seeing, we just had the anniversary of September 11th, but you would never have known because nobody was talking about it.
No, they just slid right over that. Yeah.
Right into the Charlie Kirk stuff. So, that's kind of what we want to talk about. We want to talk about our thoughts and feelings on the whole Charlie Kirk assassination, which I believe is a psychological operation. And I'm going to put on the screen what the definition of a psychological operation is, because I think a lot of people have a misconception about it. When you say it's a psyop, people assume that it's fake or that it didn't take place, but that's not exactly what a psyop is. It can be that. I mean, there can be actors hired, crisis actors and things like that, because as my handle, the world is a stage, we all know the world is a stage, it's all a show. So we do
Yep.
know that there are those situations, but a psychological operation can also mean it happens, but it's not in the way they're telling us it happens.
Well, we all know something happened, right? I mean, definitely something happened. And is it real or is it fake? That's what we don't know, right?
That's the question. And see,
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing: most of these situations we will never know. I don't think we'll ever know any of the psyops that have happened in our lifetime or before our lifetime, what is real, what is not. I mean, we even know this with history, his
Yeah.
story. You know,
Mm,
it's always in the history is always made from the victors, right? The people who win
exactly.
are the
Yeah.
ones who make the history and tell us what the history really is. So I
Right.
feel like psyops are similar in that way, that they tell us what they want us to think. And in this situation, I believe what's happening is they're trying to scare the shit out of us again.
Yeah.
Put fear, make us be traumatized, because traumatized people demand and make it easy for the government to just put things into place. We demand, then we want more security. We want take away our guns, things like that. Like, we
Yeah.
demand
If
it
you
because mhm,
fear paralyzes people and then they're like, oh, help me. I need, protection.
right. And I'm already hearing all over the internet people like Nick Fuentes saying things like, "What is the government going to do about this?"
Mm,
About this whole Charlie Kirk situation, because a lot of people are accusing him of being um the mouthpiece for people like, I just found out about these groups, groypers they're called. They're like,
never heard of it.
right, they're Nick Fuentes followers. Apparently
Hmm.
they're considered far right extreme people who are, according to, the definition of them, are either like anti-Semitic, super racist, or white supremacist, all the things that Nick
Mm-hmm.
Fuentes is accused of being.
I
So
don't
we
I don't
have
even know who that is, actually.
Nick
Like, I
Fuentes,
probably would know if I looked him up, just like I didn't even know who this guy was. I didn't know who
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk was, really. So, yeah.
Right. And these are people who are on the world stage, political theater stage. These
Yeah,
are,
and I always look, how many followers do they have? Like, how big is their channel? Because that kind of tells you a little bit too. If they're really
right.
big, they're pretty much sold out.
So let's start from the beginning, because we can get into who the alleged person, now that they're saying is the shooter, which will bring us back to Nick Fuentes and his group of people that follow him. But I want to start on the day that it happened. First of all, it was very interesting. It happened the day before September 11th, the September
Mm-hmm.
11th Eve. I think that's intentional. I think it was
Definitely.
done on that date for a reason. As we were watching it unfold all over social media, first of all, I also want to remind people, everything we saw, most people, I have not met or heard of anyone who was actually at the event. Now, if there's somebody that wants to say in the comments if they were at the event, or they know somebody that was at the event, love to hear from you. But from my standpoint, and from most people on the internet, we were not there.
Yeah.
We didn't witness it. All the evidence that we're seeing is all on social media, and we all know that AI technology can create deep fakes and all kinds of crazy things. And
Yep.
then when you throw in their movie magic,
Hmm.
movie sets and how they make things, I mean, when we watch movies, movies look real, right? When we watch a movie and it's a war movie and we're seeing blood and guts and whatever, it looks
It looks
real,
real. Yeah.
right? So people have to keep this in mind when they're going through the evidence,
Right.
because I feel like that's another thing that happens is people get so emotional about it. They're either very angry or very sad, or then you have the crazy lefty loons that are like cheering it on, which I don't agree with.
And
Whether
I
it's
think some of
Mhm.
those people are plants also, like to stir the
instigate
pot.
anger, to
Yeah.
instigate
On
anger,
both
right?
sides, I think they have those plants that are,
For
instigators.
sure. And then you got to keep in mind the AI bots and things
Hmm.
like that are probably planted all over the internet. Because right after this
Right.
happened, what were we seeing? We were seeing civil war, civil war, civil war. It was like it was so quick. It was
Yeah.
like it was planned. That's what it felt.
Yeah.
The vibes, and also how it was all over the place so fast. It was like they made him almost out to be a martyr and almost like presidential status. The way
Yeah.
it's all over the place, right?
Right. It was
Okay,
very
so
weird.
yeah. So, I mean, would they do this for Taylor Swift? Would they do this for somebody for like Mr. Beast? Why is it so prevalent, this Charlie Kirk guy? Because he's a political figure? And why is a political figure so important that this is just being blasted all over the place for us to be in our face 24/7? I mean, how many
Right.
days has it been? 2 days? It's 2
I
days.
know that it seems like it's already been like a week, right? Like, because just been running this thing 24/7, and people get all caught up in it. Like, I've been trying to take some time away from it.
Right. You even said this morning you were Charlie Kirked out. And I was like, me too,
Yeah.
girl. Like this is
Exactly.
crazy. They're literally it's so much that you go to your phone and it's Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
It's like there's no
Yep.
break from it.
Hmm.
And I think that's intentional. It's to wear us down,
Yeah.
you know? So the day that we saw it happen, it was pretty traumatic.
Mhm.
Seeing something like that, I would say it's a similar to a JFK moment. I'm imagining people back in the JFK era were probably going through a similar traumatic, shocking thing to see that on the screen. It's like, whoa, whoa, you
Right.
know?
Right. And it's like I said to you before we started recording, it's like this is a form of MK Ultra trauma-based mind control, because they are manipulating your perception of reality by traumatizing you. So
Hmm. And
it's
we've also said before, you and I off screen, whether it's real or not, whether it's CGI or not, whether it happened or not, it doesn't matter. They're never going to not use a good opportunity for a tragedy to use against us to psychologically wear us down.
right.
So, there's a
Never
saying,
let a good tragedy go to waste, right? Is
thank
that what
you.
it is?
Yes,
Like something like
yes.
that.
And I think that's what happens. I think they, in a lot of cases, they make these situations, but when they don't make them, and because I mean, obviously, tragedy happens. It's reality. Like, there's going to be
Yeah.
times where bad people are going to do bad things. So I would never say everything's fake or whatever. But when it does happen, that's the opportunity they use to get us to beg for more surveillance. Or you have a lot of people saying, we need stricter gun laws, or we need
Yeah.
to, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
the whole end game. I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
people are getting this. I mean, the people that are crying and upset about Charlie Kirk, they're not seeing like the bigger picture. They're being taken advantage of. They're
Mm-hmm.
using you. And they're expecting you to cry and expecting you. They want you to feel that way. They want you to feel angry. So you're fighting online. And I don't know. It does feel like they're pushing us into the Civil War type thing. I mean, they did just do a movie about it a couple years ago. And you know
Mm-hmm.
how they love to do those pre-programming
Oh
and
yeah.
putting in the movies. So
Oh yeah.
they've already set the stage. They've already put the ideas in our minds. And then you fast forward to now, and this is just such a polarized event that, I've thought about this too. What if because everybody's so outraged and it was so extreme. And you know how recently before this happened, they were putting in the ideas in our head that Trump seems sick or that he's disappeared or something
Oh
like that,
yeah.
or that he might
Uh-huh.
have died. That
Yeah.
makes me start thinking, what if they are setting us up for
Hmm.
something to fake happen to Trump? Because they already did the fake assassination with him, right? So
Yep.
now that they've done the Charlie Kirk thing, that's the turning point. Remember, his company or his group was the Turning
Right.
Point
Turning
USO
point. Yep.
USA. So
Exactly.
now it's a turning point. So what does that turning point look like?
Hmm.
Is what I'm saying. So at this point, nothing will surprise me. Nothing. Like
I
if
know.
something were to happen to Trump, it
Hmm.
would not surprise me. And I wouldn't be outraged or sad or anything, and not because I don't like the guy or anything, or I like the guy, I don't like the guy. It's just because I don't trust anything that they show us on the world stage.
Right.
I mean, I want to remind people, just a few weeks ago, everyone was demanding the Epstein files. We all were like, Epstein files. We want to get rid of predators. We want to protect children. Da 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 da. Now, fast forward to now.
Yeah,
Is it?
this could be just another big distraction because of that too. Like, who
Yeah.
knows? Like, you know.
Now no one's talking about it. So people have to keep in mind that the FBI and the government who lied to our faces and told us there is no Epstein. It's a Democrat hoax, and gave us all this runaround and everything. Now all of a sudden they're coming out and saying we know who the shooter was. This is who the guy is. This is what happened. Yada yada yada. And
Hmm.
people are believing that.
Yeah, they just lay it all out there right for you, and people just eat it up.
Right. Are we supposed to believe the FBI? Are we not supposed to believe the FBI? I can't keep up with people. Like, what
Hmm.
is it? Are we picking and choosing the lies and which ones to believe? Because at this point, I've seen enough from the FBI. I've seen enough from the three-letter government groups. I've seen enough from our government to know that nothing they tell us is what it seems.
Hmm.
Right. So I don't trust anything. And
No.
did you watch the press conference, right, where the governor of Utah came
Yeah.
on?
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
I found there's some
They're
things I
signaling there.
mhm.
Yep.
So there was a few things I want to talk about that I found very interesting. One was that the governor made a big deal about political violence. He was like, "People have been asking me, what about the school shooting? Because wasn't there just a school shooting that just happened again?
The
We're not
same
talking
day.
right, we're
Same
not talking
day.
about
Yeah.
Minneapolis because that
Right.
just happened too. We're
Right.
talking about another one, which is like,
Colorado, I think.
yep, it feels like they're amping. They keep amping these things up, right? And what I think people are going to be begging, we need AI surveillance in schools. I don't know. This is where mine goes. Okay, Palantir.
Hmm.
We need to be doing all that. So that's where mine goes. But what I'm saying is that people are questioning the governor of Utah and saying, why are we making a bigger deal out of Charlie Kirk than something like this next school shooting or protecting children? And he was like, well, my answer is political violence is the worst kind of violence. And I was like,
Didn't they also? Sorry, didn't they also
yeah,
say like something about social media? Social media is dangerous or something.
social media is a cancer,
Is a
he said.
cancer, right? Like,
And
see, you could see all the angles that they're trying to play. Like you're saying, the security, the surveillance, and then there's the shutting down of voices that they don't want to be heard.
right. But the real cancer on social
Mm,
media is the
mhm.
political bullcrap that they put in our face all the time. That's the
Right.
cancer. See, they don't want to talk about the real cancer of social media. It's not just people socializing and talking to family members or not or whatnot. Social media is a cancer because they've made it a cancer and they
Hmm.
won't take any accountability for it. They're the ones
Hmm.
making it a cancer. They're the ones traumatizing us with it. They're the ones using it to create these situations where they're using psyops against us through social media. So,
It's,
dude, you're
yeah.
working for the government. You are the cancer. Political violence is like the most important or something we should focus on out of all other violence. I'm sorry, I don't agree. I don't agree that a politician or a political figure is more important than children's lives or the lives of the peasants, us.
Politics is violence, basically.
And
Yeah.
they've created such a volatile back and forth.
They want us to hate each other, and that's why now is the best time to unite and realize what they're doing to us.
Yeah, because they're always trying to divide us and make us go against each other, and they would love for us to take each other out. It makes their job
Oh, yeah.
easier. If we just go and have a civil
Exactly.
war and we go and take each other out and it's like
Right.
one big purge, like the movie The Purge, they would love that. The elites would be like, okay,
Yes.
this is great. We get to watch the entertainment because we're sickos while they all kill each other or whatever. And then they're taking themselves out. So win-win. Win for us.
They're putting that in our heads all the time about civil war, and and then you see other people start to repeat the same thing, and it is pretty scary because, like, there are other alternatives. There's other things you can do besides go right there to, like, oh, we're going to civil war,
Piggybacking what you just said about they repeating, and I feel like they parrot a lot of things. Even recently, when you go and you ask somebody something and say, "What do you think about the Charlie Kirk assassination? Do you think it's real? Do you think it was a professional hit? What do you think? Like, what are your views on it?" Most people are parroting the NPC response
Yes.
where they say, "Well, no matter what your political views are,
It
violence like
was
that is
wrong.
wrong."
And
And
we
it's
know
like,
that. It's like,
we
why
already
do you
know
have to
that.
repeat that?
Yo,
Like, you just are repeating exactly what they're
what
telling
the
you to say. Like,
Yes,
can we think
over
on
and
our
over again.
own? Yeah.
Yes. No, we want to know what you think happened because the evidence that they are laying out doesn't make any sense. And when it doesn't make any
Mm-mm.
sense, it's usually a psyop. When things don't add up, or how about this?
Yes.
When they keep using the same repeat person or evidence, they keep using like it's always a trans person or it's always a mentally ill person or whatever. Or how about the fact that during Trump's assassination, it was a roof shooting 200
Mm.
yards away or whatever. It's both sound so similar. It's like,
Again, yeah.
yeah, can they not come
Same
up with
thing.
new material?
I
Does
guess not.
does
It's
it
all in the
always have to be
script.
the same stuff?
They have to follow the script. But yeah, there were so many things about this in particular too. Like, there's a reason why we didn't get to see him. Like, they basically carried him into an SUV. There was no ambulance on site, which is unheard of for a crowd that big, right? They just carry him into an SUV and then nobody sees him ever again. Let's wrap it up with a bow and send
Just
him
shoo them
off.
away. There's not going to have like one ambulance there just in case someone has a heart
Exactly.
attack or there's some kind of issue. That doesn't seem,
Hmm.
I mean, ask your
No.
EMT friends, ask your first responders. Does that sound logical to you? Normally they would have somebody
Even at
there.
these little town fairs and stuff, you have an ambulance standing by for people who, maybe get overheated or have a heart attack or whatever. Like, there's always usually somebody there,
Yeah.
and nothing for somebody who gets shot in the neck, supposedly, and they just carry him off like that. Like, first of all, yeah, to talk to a EMT on how you're supposed to handle a situation like that. Are you
Where
supposed
the
to just pick the person up and drop them into a car?
Right,
Like,
I would think if someone has been shot or is bleeding out of the neck, you're supposed to
pressure, they say, right?
pressure
And
and maybe put something
I
on
don't
it
know.
or around it or something. Like I know that it was a critical thing that and people that's say they saw the evidence or whatever say, oh, he was probably died instantly. Okay, but it's still nothing that they did to me is logical on how they handled the situation. Also, too, there's a picture circulating, and I shared it to my Facebook where the guy that was at Trump's assassination with the glasses, the sunglasses,
Fight! Fight! Fight!
he looks like the guy that was behind Charlie Kirk doing the baseball signs. I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of people have already seen
Hmm.
these theories that the two people
Hmm.
behind Charlie Kirk when it happened looked like he was giving some kind of signal.
Signals. Yeah.
That guy looks like a similar guy to the guy that was at Trump's assassination attempt where he was helping him off the stage and he had sunglasses. I remember now.
Hmm.
If you compare them, they look kind of similar, which I think is a very interesting thing that someone has brought up. So it's just something to look into. Who knows? I mean, could be just a fluke. But again, I don't really believe in coincidences. Also, I found it very interesting that the phrase that was used before he was shot happened to be about mass shooting.
Right.
How
Yes.
convenient that the question the
Yeah.
person asks him about mass shooting, how many mass shooters do you think there are? And he gets shot in a mass shooting type event. Like
Right.
you can't make that
Right.
up,
Right.
you
And then
know?
there was that Twitter or X post where
It was from June 22nd, 2014, and it said, "Did I just get shot by an AR-15? It
That's
feels
it.
like
Yeah.
it." Yep,
Yeah.
it
So
feels like
weird.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
weird.
much signaling and planning here that like it's
And how
just
about the
you can't
book?
just buy it. You
The
can't buy
book
the stuff.
conspiracy that's been going around, and I looked into it. So
Mm-hmm.
the book was called The Shooting of Charlie Kirk, and the author was an Anastasia J. Casey, I think the name was. But I went to look into it, and of course now it's not on Amazon. So I was like, okay, what
Yeah, they
happens if I
removed
Google?
it.
Yeah. So I looked into it. And I said, what happens if I Google the book and the name of the author? Well, it did come up in the search and to take you to Amazon. But when you click on it, it says, uh-oh, with
Broken
the little
link.
dog picture and
A
says,
broken link. Yep.
not here. Yeah, so they took it down. Of course they took it down
Of
because the
course they
fact of the
did,
matter
right?
is it showed that it was released the day before the shooting. So that's odd. That's weird. How can a book about the shooting be released the day before the shooting?
Right. And I think that even the name anesthesia. You
Oh,
kinda-
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
and I'm sure there's other things if we look into it with even the Casey name, who knows? Like I swear there's when you really analyze these things, there's so many patterns with numbers and
Mm-hmm.
names, and the more you look into it, the more you see it and the more you can't unsee it. Oh, how about
Right.
the fact that during the press conference, Cash Patel made it a purpose to say 33 hours.
Mm-hmm.
After 33 hours, we apprehended the suspect. Why do you have to
Right.
specify 33? A Freemason
Exactly.
number.
Mm-hmm.
What? That's just a coincidence?
Yeah.
And then it got mentioned a few more times. It's like they're speaking to each other through
Oh, they are. They are.
yeah, and then mocking us all and laughing. I mean, even
Yeah,
when he
because they
said
think
like
we're really stupid. They
stupid.
think people don't know about this stuff. And if you're not researching this stuff, you're not going to know. But if you are, you know. You
Yeah,
know when they're signaling.
if you know, you
You know.
know.
Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff is already foreshadowed like through movies and even music. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was music before September 11th where rappers were singing about September 11th. I mean, there's always some kind of foreshadowing of these events before they happen, and people
Mm-hmm.
don't always notice it until after the fact. And then you go and look at everything, you're like, whoa, that's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because even
Yep.
September 11th, who actually saw planes crash into the towers? I mean, everything we saw was all on TV. Most of us weren't there, and after like looking over the evidence, it looked like demolition, a demolition, like the way a building falls with
Yes.
explosives.
Yeah.
So even that, I mean, that was a huge psychological operation. And what happened after that? The Patriot Act. And is that
Right. So we
effect
wouldn't be surprised if there's a Charlie Kirk
Charlie
Act
Kirk Act?
coming, right?
Yeah, which I can see in the foreseeable future because they're amping up these school shootings. They're almost weekly now. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we had that incident with what was her name? Irina.
Ukraine girl. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Irina
forget her name.
Zarutska, I think was, yeah, I wrote it down here. Irina, I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm pronouncing that right. But the fact that here's what I also thought was interesting about that. It happened not too long ago, and she was allegedly stabbed in the neck. I know now they're saying
Mm.
she might have been stabbed down further, but here you got Charlie Kirk, who's allegedly shot in the neck. You have Irina, who's like allegedly at the time stabbed in the neck. So much confusion to the point where I was seeing on the internet, people were interchangeably confusing the two when they were talking about.
Yeah.
That's how close these psychological operations are. And I'm not saying,
Right.
again, I'm not saying these things didn't happen. I'm just saying something isn't right here. And then even with that guy, remember you were telling me how the guy that stabbed her now is in prison and he claims that something's happening where he's like being mind
That
controlled,
when he was in prison before this, that they put something inside him, some kind of material or a chip or something
which
that
activated
was
him.
controlling him.
Where we're seeing like this political sort of violence where the end goal is to cause some kind of race war or civil war. Two of these stories, the man that shot the church school, He said that he didn't want to do it, please help him. And the man that stabbed the woman on the train, the Ukrainian woman, he also came out and said that something was in his body, like he was being controlled, that it wasn't him.
So you said something in your body did what?
Nah, the material, put it like this, the material used in my body to stab the lady.
And so she just got stabbed.
Yeah. You know that's not me. I'm talking about just for no reason. But since they did that, now they got to investigate the material my body exposed to. Since they want to do all that, now they got to investigate.
It's funny because she's from the Ukraine. She's from Russia, and you know they got a war. They had a war going on against the United States. So I'm just trying to understand, out of all people, why her?
That's hey, it ain't. I don't have nothing. They just lashed out on her. That's what happened. They lashed out on her. Whoever was working the material, whoever was working the material, they lashed out on her.
Now, one could say that he's faking this, he's faking mental health to get out of this, but he's actually complained about this multiple times in the past. Reading this article here from KGNS.TV, in January, Brown was arrested after repeatedly calling 911 from a hospital where he complained that someone was trying to control him with foreign substances. He was quickly released without bail on a promise to return for court, which is standard for low-level misdemeanors. The charge carries a maximum sentence of 4 months in jail under standards approved by the Republican-led legislature in 2013. We do know that MKUltra had once existed. It's not a conspiracy theory. The CIA, they have it declassified on their website. Now, they said they went ahead and stopped the program, which is very true. I do believe them. They stopped MKUltra. But what they're not telling people is that something more powerful had taken its place. And it did. We had MK Search and MK Often. Now, they said they also stopped MK Search and MK Often, but like I said, something more powerful also had taken their place as well. They don't stop these mind control programs. I don't know if anybody out there truly believes that they went ahead and said, you know what? We're not going to go ahead and experiment on the public anymore. We're not going to have individuals carry out our tasks for us under the guise that they may be crazy or hateful against another political party. And what is the end goal here? Well, there's all this chaos taking place around the world. And the one thing they want to do is destroy America within even faster now that we're getting closer to that 2030 agenda. And one way to do it is to create civil conflict, a civil war. But it won't be in the way that we saw back in the 1800s. It'll be attacks here and there until they start ramping up more and more, until they introduce things like martial law and so forth.
And that might sound crazy. I mean, like, I'm not saying to believe it or not.
Crazy.
It might sound crazy, but you know what? So would MK Ultra. And that's been confirmed by the CIA. And so we're to the point where even if the CIA is saying they're not using the old techniques of MK Ultra, they're probably using high technology forms of MK Ultra now, which is way more
I don't think
crazier.
it went away.
No.
It didn't go away, you know?
No, they just got better technology. So now maybe they can MK Ultra you from miles away, maybe through radio waves or EMFs, or they can activate you in a different way. Or some people speculate it's through the pokes, that there's something in the pokes that can, be activated. We don't know. I don't know. It does all sound really crazy. But at this point, I don't put anything past any of these evil people.
Right. And I think it's important to talk about this stuff. Like, talk about what are your, what are you seeing? What are you really seeing? And what do you think about it? Like, because there's so many possibilities here. And to just limit your focus, that's what they want. They want you to limit your focus. They're going to wrap up the story and they're going to put it out here. This is what happened. This is who did it. And now it's over, And
just accept it. Even the press conference, the governor was saying, we've apprehended him. Everything's good. They were talking like, oh, we're still going to be investigating. But yet the way they're talking as if the case is closed.
Yeah.
The case is closed. Everyone, nothing to see here.
It's like the Epstein thing all over again. Yeah.
And also,
they just don't want us to dig.
the FBI saying we're showing how transparent. So I think there's another agenda with trying to trick the American people and people in general to think now, because we've been so questioning the Epstein file debacle, they're trying to be like, look how fast we're doing this and we're being transparent and we're telling you all this stuff. So now you can trust us, right? You can trust us, right? But I'm sorry, you're not being transparent. And also the FBI they didn't even allegedly solve anything. According to the story, the father turned in his son.
Right.
Which all of that sounds crazy too. The whole thing. I guess he was a 27-year police veteran. We're supposed to believe that this kid climbed down a wall like Spider-Man, jumped off the building, ran, put the gun somewhere, hid it in the forest or nearby, left his car in the campus. Didn't he leave the car or something?
Yeah,
Did
I
he
think
drive
so.
the car or leave? Yeah, they said it was the campus, I thought. I mean, I could be wrong. There's been so much information, it's hard to keep up. But I think he left the car. Why would he leave his car? And also, too, why would he go home? He just shot
Why would he
somebody.
go
Like,
home? Yeah, exactly.
like, wouldn't he leave the country? And then what about the thing with the plane? The jet, all of the mystery behind, there was some kind of jet that was
Oh
like,
yeah, they want to brush that aside real fast. They don't want anybody looking at that plane stuff. Like, yeah.
yeah. And also, I want people to see that video you sent me where they show the movie makeup of the neck.
Oh yeah.
You guys have
Yeah.
got to see this. Like, literally look into movie magic and how they do like all these
Prosthetics.
and the injuries.
Prosthetics,
Yes, they
yeah.
showed this scene of this guy who had literally neck prosthetics, and you couldn't even tell it wasn't that it wasn't his neck.
No, it looked like a real neck, and it looked like the guy was cutting into the guy's neck until you're like, oh, wait a second, that's a prosthetic. It's like foam or something.
Yes, and so that they can put the tube up through
Into,
it.
yeah.
Yes.
We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage.
We don't want to jinx it, we don't want to say anything wrong, but what we don't want to have happen is that awful moment, and I wish I could say it's never happened, where you're on set and you start pumping blood and you look at the actor and nothing's coming out of his neck, but there's a giant red pile going on the back of his body, you know? All I'm doing with purging the line is making sure that the blood is traveling down the line and that there's pressure in the thing. So I don't know if you can see here, you got it? Chair. So this is the bit where I'm going to cut the appliance. Oh. So I'm going to start to cut. This is where I had that situation where I had an extra freak out on set. This is always I think, a very nerve-wracking piece because you don't exactly know for sure that you are in the right place, and also, you know, you are using a pair of live scissors on next to an actor, and the whole crew are watching sometimes, and you're a little bit nervous. And just get you to turn a little bit towards the mic. There you go. These are a very, very fine pointed scissor. They snip through foam really, really well. And also they've got a lot of control over the blade. There we go. It's a little bit lower than I wanted to be, but that's actually not a bad thing. Regarding the pale colour of the foam on the inside, some people like to paint that red. I don't. Your flesh is naturally white inside. I'll bring you back to this position. And I kind of like the white because it's going to go red very, very quickly. And I like that. I really do. I like this. Now, Mike, if you drop your head down, Just relax. See, it's almost like I can finger the wound back in. It's almost like it's undetectable. 3, 2, 1.
Creating this hit took an air pressurizer, a gnarly prosthetic, and a special blood formula. To find out how they do it, we went to Brett Schmidt and Greg Pikulski, the special effects makeup artists at SPFX Studio. They've created graphic injuries for mob dramas like The Irishman, medical shows like New Amsterdam, and action movies like Sicario: Day of the Soldado. It all starts with the actual prosthetics. The hardest part of creating wounds is building the look of depth.
Prosthetic makeup is an additive process, so you can only add, you can't take away. It also has to work into the rest of the person's body. And that's why a lot of times for effects that have, lacerations or even bullet holes, you'll actually have a prosthetic that is an entire torso.
For smaller wounds, Brett and Greg might use one of these tiny tubes. These can be hidden in actors' hair or even a pair of glasses like they did in this scene from Sicario: Day of the Soldado. To hide the larger tubes, however, they had to sculpt a special channel in the prosthetic.
You don't want to put a tube in, that creates a bulge or anything like that. That'll give away the effect.
How the blood comes out of the tube depends on what you use to power it. The blood has to be released at a high pressure out of a centralized location, like you see in this test run with water. They get that effect using this little device.
This is a tiny little garden sprayer that's usually used for spraying various chemicals on your flowers or whatnot.
After they prime the line with some pre-existing blood, they let out the blood in a pulsing motion to emulate real arterial bleeding.
3, 2, 1.
The key was using a lot of blood. For the full effect, though, you'd need to see this in slow-mo.
A lot of people were questioning Charlie Kirk with his shirt. Like, you could tell if you slow-moed it, the shirt blew up, open, like where his heart was. It was like a pop of air was going through his shirt. And then all of a sudden you see blood up here. So it's like,
Right.
I don't know, with the technology now and the government and all these elites, who knows what they financially can afford to have technology on. So I don't know. It's like, it's hard to imagine. I don't want to. Like, I know people love Charlie Kirk, and I have nothing against the guy. I thought he was very entertaining. I would watch his debates, and it was very entertaining. I didn't always agree with everything he had to say, but at the same time, do I trust the guy? No. He was literally pushing our youth into a situation where they're all being brainwashed to do politics. He's thrown President 47 red MAGA hats in the audience. He's literally like the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
For our youth.
Yeah, he was up there for a reason,
Yeah. And so, like, from that standpoint, I don't agree with him doing that. I don't agree with what he was doing. I do agree with a lot of the things he was saying, and the free speech and getting people to have conversations, but him promoting the red versus blue paradigm and getting kids to just flock in, just like I think Trump is a Judas goat. That's pretty Judas goat to me. I'm like, so there's things about him I don't trust him. So, like, would he make a deal? Would he make a deal to fake his own death? I don't know. I don't know, these people that are in secret societies. I don't know people that are high up, and I don't know what they would all do. But, from what I can imagine, the possibilities are endless. And if you have the technology in movies to make things look real, it's not that far-fetched to me. So
Right.
I don't know.
Far-fetched.
I feel like they used him. I feel like they used Charlie Kirk to send a message.
Or he agreed to, like you're saying, to play this part, right? It's an act. They did away with the character, Charlie Kirk, but maybe not the actual actor person.
Right. So these are just things we all need to ask. It's not that crazy. All we're saying is that there's a possibility. And from what I've seen so far, I definitely think it's a psyop. So, like, I definitely think it was a psychological operation used against us to usher in AI surveillance. Because here's another thing, the witnesses. Let's talk about the witnesses, the alleged eyewitnesses at the event. So there was the one that I saw that went viral, that he felt like there was lax security during the event. And here's my thing. When he's saying this, I'm thinking, oh, there it is. There it is. That is the agenda. They want people afraid to go to different events, so they want more security, and AI surveillance will help with that. And then I was also thinking, okay, so let's say they did have higher security technically in around the campus area. Is that really going to affect a professional hit? If it was a professional hit, a CIA person or Mossad, whoever, hired to take Charlie Kirk out, or a political figure on a roof somewhere, do you really think that's going to stop that from happening, having higher security for the college students there at the event?
I mean, they didn't even do any, like, they literally just had this supposed other event that happened with Trump, and then they didn't secure the rooftops. Like, nothing makes any sense. Like, wouldn't you think that would be one of the first things that they would do?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, and there was a video of Charlie Kirk's admitting that it's a very volatile environment. He knows he's going into volatile environments.
Yeah.
And he said that he has higher security. But like, if he had higher security, then what happened? Wouldn't they have secured the area? How did that happen?
It makes no sense. And like the photos that people got were fuzzy, like they were not clear. Like literally everybody's walking around with the latest iPhone, and we still can't get clear photos of anything.
Right. That's a lot of times what happens in these events, is that the video that they release has low resolution. I mean, think about all the UFO videos they release. They're all crappy. It feels like a lot of these videos are either from like the CCTV cams that are really crappy, and it's like, really, we have all this technology and the only videos that you can find or release is these crappy ones with low resolution? Come on.
Right. And if you looked at the venue, the people were pretty close. Like the people in the front were pretty right there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. Like somebody would have gotten better shots and better video.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing that didn't make any sense was the other, I know people saw this. This also went viral. The other eyewitnesses were the 3 girls, where the girl was like smiling and kind of like the feeling. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're hateful liberals. That's really not the vibe that I got while I was watching it. The vibe I got was that they were excited. They were hired to do a part, and they were on the TV, and they had to remember their lines. And yeah. And when he got shot in the heart. And I remember her saying that. I was thinking, wait a minute, you were there and you said he got shot in the heart, but everybody knew he got shot in the neck. So
it's weird.
Did you get the wrong lines? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many weird things that just don't add up. And also, why aren't you more traumatized? You know, you and I talked about this. If we had seen that live, if I had seen anything live where someone shot like that, afterwards, I'm going to be like, whoa, that was like crazy. I'm not going to be like, and he was like shot in the heart. And that's just like, what is that? Obviously, you didn't see it. Because you're not having a normal human reaction to it. Yeah. And then we saw those videos where people were cheering. It's like, I don't know. The whole thing just is crazy.
There's way too many strange things about it. And then how Trump was the one to announce that Charlie Kirk was dead was so weird.
Yeah. And how fast they were tweeting about it, and
then they have they cut to a prayer in Congress. Like what?
Yeah, it was all too well orchestrated, too fast, all just out there right away. Yeah, and also too, the whole end game, besides the AI surveillance and getting us to beg for martial law or beg for more protection from the government. The biggest thing here, takeaway too, is how, they divide us, and it makes it so the left is begging for the right to be censored, and the right is begging for, every censorship as well. So, because I noticed, so we have the left who, through their censorship, they're like hate speech. I mean, like how they accused Charlie Kirk of being a hateful person. I don't think Charlie Kirk was a hateful person. I think that was something that the media was putting out there to put that in people's minds. I mean, and then also the left people who just think if you are anti-abortion or you are anti-LGBTQ or whatever, you're a hateful person. But on the other side, you can be LGBTQ and be against heterosexual people. You can be against all kinds of stuff, and no one's over there going hate speech. To me, it's just it's like a preference. It's a preference. So one side has this preference, another side has this preference, but yet one side wants to say because they have that preference, they're hateful. And so I don't agree with that. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene was literally saying we need to remove the
Yeah.
videos of Charlie Kirk and censoring the internet. It's like, where are we right now? I don't think Charlie
Right.
Kirk would be for that. Charlie Kirk was for free speech. So I don't, and not censorship. So I don't think that he would be for censoring or taking things down or whatever. Like it's crazy. You got both sides doing the same thing to each
Mhm.
other, and it's both fascist if you think about it. But of course, the left accuses the right of being fascist. But then, wait a minute, you're being fascist because you're trying to silence people's voices. It's nuts. We're living in
Mhm.
clown world.
Yeah.
And then
Moving
you and
fast
I,
towards the dystopia.
right? And you and I are
Dystopian
over here
paradise.
going, can we all just get along? Can you not see what they're
Yeah.
duping you? That you guys are literally being tricked by the same people to go against each other.
No, they're just like, the people are out there going, they want you to hate the Democrats, hate the Republicans, or it's just so insane.
Right. And then you got the Republicans cheering on the alligator Alcatraz and these encampments. Like that's great. It's like, are you kidding me? And they're also cheering on US military strikes on suspected drug smugglers that happened on September 4th. They're cheering on shooting and killing people, but yet you don't know who these people are. Just because the government is telling you these are
Right.
drug dealers or whatever they're telling us, why are you cheering that on? It's no different than the left cheering on Charlie Kirk dying. Like you're literally cheering for people's deaths.
Yeah.
And you don't know these people.
Right.
And don't get me started about the people who are virtue signaling and putting Charlie Kirk photos in their profile pics. Like, what are you doing?
Like you don't know him.
You didn't know him. Why are you acting like
Yeah.
this? I mean, it's sort of like when they did the George Floyd thing. It's like it's the whole thing all over again on repeat. So I don't know. I just think people need to start paying attention, stop being so emotional, look at all the evidence, sit back, take a moment, take a breath, and don't believe whatever they put on the screen in that moment. Just, I think Peggy Hall has a nice technique she does. When she watches things, I think she turns the sound off and she'll just watch what's going on, or she won't look at the picture and she'll listen, because all the stuff that they put on the screen is all intentional. So it's meant to overwhelm you and to make you maybe not notice certain things. And if you really want to be understanding what's going on, you have to be non-biased about these things and be calm.
And it's important to recognize what's going on, but not to get emotionally involved and caught up and, be changing your profile picture and being like, crying for days over these people that you don't even know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. And if you believe in collecting loosh, that's another reason probably why they traumatize us and make us afraid and angry all the time, because they can somehow harness that energy if you believe in that. So, I mean, the more I see this stuff happening, the more I believe in loosh, because they are constantly keeping us in a trauma type situation all the time.
Yeah.
And, this week, the psyop is Charlie Kirk. Next week
we'll forget Charlie Kirk.
People will be like, Charlie who? And there'll be a new psyop. So like people have to keep this in mind. The loop keeps going and it's going to keep going. And what we need to, the only way to put a stop to it is to take breaks and step away. Because I think even when I'm at home and I'm like, if I take a step away and I'm away from the news cycle for 3 weeks, I feel so much more content. I feel happy and relaxed, and it's nice not to have this constant what's next in your face. So that's one thing I did agree with the governor on. when he said, go out there and touch
Go
grass,
outside. Yeah.
be with your families, step away from your phone and your mobile devices. I do agree with that message. So
Definitely.
I'm trying to think if there's any other final things. Oh, I wanted to bring up the MSNBC person that they fired.
Oh,
That's
okay.
crazy. And
Mhm.
there again, that's proof.
Yeah.
So it's like the right is cheering on a left person who's an NBC anchor, MSNBC anchor, because he made a statement of like, I didn't even think it was that big of a deal. He was just saying, hey, in my opinion, see, this is all part of the programming. He believes that Charlie Kirk was pushing hateful rhetoric. Okay, so he believes that. So in his mind, he's thinking, well, if he's doing this, it's also going to promote maybe hateful actions. Okay, that's actually a pretty truthful statement. I mean, I do think that if you're hanging around someone who's angry all the time or who's hateful all the time, you're gonna tend to be angry and hateful all the time, right? And it might make you to push you over the edge. So I don't see what he said that was so wrong that we should be cheering for his firing. I mean, what is this? Are we canceling people on the left and right now? Is this really where we are in life? Because the establishment is loving it.
Shutting down free speech and journalism. Like, we know that Trump is after journalism.
Big time. Big time. Also, speaking of freedom, one thing I wanted to say that I remembered when when this whole thing was going through my mind, Charlie Kirk had freedom across his shirt. So I feel like that whole thing was a symbolism. It was a symbolic way of saying freedom is dead. Your freedom is dead. We're taking your freedom away. Boom, you're dead. Gone. Freedom, gone.
Turning point.
It's a turning point. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. One thing I do want to say about the suspect, Tyler Robinson. Like, who is this kid? Who is he? And there's been like chatter that he could have Asperger's or something. I don't know if that's true or not, but you and I have had conversations about this before where I feel like they target those types of people. And then also the whole mental illness thing. Now that the health stuff is becoming digital, I feel like they're pushing this idea of all these people being mentally ill, mentally ill, mentally ill. So they're going to write you off as mentally ill. So that also takes away your protection, these red flag laws. They're going to come after you and say, oh, you're mentally ill, so you can't own one. So that's why I think they're pushing that narrative.
Even more than that, I think that they're going to, Trump is putting things into action to lock up mentally ill people again, opening more asylums and stuff. So yeah, they're definitely pushing that.
There's something with that, because let's just say that a theory, it was a professional hit. Let's say it did happen and it was a professional hit, but they're blaming it on this young boy who might or might not have disabilities or issues or whatever and mental illness. So what are they saying here? They're saying that we have to really look out for mentally ill people and we have to crack down on these things because it's the mentally ill. And this is why we need to have background checks, because we need to know if these people are mentally ill. So it all comes into play, and going back to what I started with in the beginning with Nick Fuentes, I do want to talk about the Tyler Robinson connection, because at first they were pushing the narrative that he was a leftist, right? They were saying it's the Democrats. I still am seeing it. I'm still seeing people on the right saying Democrats are evil, like he was a Democrat, right? Well, now there's footage coming out where he has a Trump shirt on and he looks like he's a Trump person. So that narrative is out of, you can't use that. And you can't say he's a leftist. So now they're saying, like I said, getting back to Nick Fuentes, he's more of they would consider him more of an extreme right-wing person. Yeah, you really need to look into Nick Fuentes. I think Candace Owens did an interview with him, but it wasn't allowed on YouTube. So I think you'd have to access it on Twitter. I'll call that Operation Bluebird Twitter.
Oh, wasn't there something about Candace Owens that you told me that, like, it coincidentally, she came out and said that Charlie Kirk was the person who told her about
the Macron people,
the Macrons.
Yes.
The Brigitte being a man.
He was her source, that he had come to her, because I think there was a time where she was telling us that someone had approached her and told her, be careful because XYZ. And I think he was the one that told her that, like warned her and said that someone's been talking to Trump, or the Macrons have been talking to Trump. I don't, something like that. So I think if you go back and watch her video where it's her, like, it's pretty much a tribute to him. I think she says it in that one. Yeah.
Didn't like a lot of people calling me and doing the political dance. Of course, people guessed it correctly when they said, oh, the person who probably was the intermediary when Trump called about Brigitte was Charlie Kirk. Of course it was Charlie. They would never send anybody else to call me with anything because they knew that Charlie was a brother to me. And there was so many things that were said that were wrong. And we laughed at how wrong it was when people thought that when I had made up my mind about Israel, that Charlie and me fell apart. Never, not for a second. I said, it's the easiest decision ever, because Charlie knew who I was and I knew who he was. I said, Charlie, this is where I'm at, and there's no room for movement. And you tell your whoever that needs to hear it, whatever you need to tell them, because we're always going to be brothers and sisters, you know? We're always going to be brother and sister. And we would talk about things and debate things behind the scenes. And I think my perspective was as it's been throughout our relationship. You might not get it now, Charlie, but you will. I'm only a few years older than you, but I think you're gonna see things my way. And I think in the end, Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation. I don't think it. I know it. He was going through a lot, and there was a lot of pressure. And it's hard for me to watch the people who were pressuring him, I don't know, just say the things that they're saying. You know, there's something about it that just feels really fake to me. And they would have allowed him to lose and wanted him to lose everything for changing or even slightly modifying an opinion. And then to see them doing what they're doing today, it's hurtful to me. It's very hurtful to me. But I don't want today to be about anything other than you guys knowing that Charlie really was an amazing person.
And see, that's the other thing too. The Glenn Beck video where he's like fake crying and stuff.
And wasn't it with Megyn Kelly? Is that who
Megyn Kelly? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff.
Right. And there is video of Glenn Beck behind the scenes. They were putting from a long time ago. They were making him cry.
James Ella, you know who, protecting Megyn Kelly, and Glenn, I will cry at the drop of a hat, Beck weighing in on this. And I just want to quote William Shakespeare, all the world's a stage.
They're reporting that Charlie has died. That he's dead at the age of 31. Which he would have to be if that video was real.
There's no way he survived that. The only good thing is, it had to have happened quickly.
Right. Right.
Now, for people who say, Brian, you're so callous. How can you judge the feelings and the motives of these people? I mean, they knew Charlie Kirk. I'm telling you, when a psychopath reveals themselves to be a psychopath, believe them. This is Glenn Beck showing you how he does it.
I
think if you need more tears, you're going to need.
Yeah, I don't know what's teeny bit. Okay, flash. It's like a teeny bit, so I like his eyes to be open.
You just go wait for these beeps right there.
So once it gets rolling, I think it is getting used to it. My eyes are getting used to it.
That's when we bring out the pepper spray.
You can just look at me. That's good.
Instant sadness.
your eyes open. I know it's probably like impossible.
I think you get the point, but let me just show you a side-by-side comparison here.
There's no way he survived that. The only good thing is, it had to have happened quickly.
Right. Right.
I don't know about you, but I am not quick to believe anybody on fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media. And then you have Alex Jones.
Look, folks, I'm not somebody that cries easily. I was sitting in this parking lot going home. I started crying a few months ago. Charlie Kirk was a really sweet person. I first met him back in 2016 at the RNC in Cleveland. He was so young. He had to be like 20-something years old then, so happy, so full of life. He had big plans. How he was going to galvanize all the kids on campuses to vote Republican, wake them up to communism.
He's going to galvanize everybody into a political category that calls for a ruling class to create policies that are going to institute government gang violence upon the rest of us. And I don't care if you're talking about left, right. I don't care if you're talking about communism, Marxism, socialism. That's what it all is. And as long as you continue to play and validate the game, you legitimize the system that is actually built to enslave you, to promote evil ideologies that enslave your family. That's what Charlie Kirk was all about. That's what Alex Jones is all about. And you can't get caught up in the emotion of the moment. You can call me callous all you want to, but I don't want the boxcars to roll up in my neighborhood or your neighborhood because all these yahoos thought it would be a good idea to play the game of political parasites. Choose this political parasite because America will be great under this political parasite. The leftists are telling us to vote for Obama or Biden or Harris, and the rightists are telling us to vote for Donald J. Trump. Vote for Reagan. You can't go wrong with Bush and Halliburton, can you?
Yeah, so if he's going to be openly showing us that he's already done that before, how are we supposed to believe that right now in this moment he's not fake crying right now?
Yeah.
It's like you can't trust anything these people do.
Right.
Because in my opinion, they all have psychopathic tendencies or something.
Yeah. Well, it's like we say, they're all in the occult.
Yeah, because they're on the stage for a reason, right? A lot of
Yeah.
us can agree that they've made some kind of agreement. The reason they're famous or the reason on the
Yep.
stage or they get there's usually some kind of agreement they make. It's like the deal with the devil, but I'm not saying it's an actual deal with the devil, but you know what I'm saying. Like you make
Mhm.
these deals, just like we believe that the presidents are selected and not
Mhm.
elected. When they are selected, I'm sure they are approached by the elites or whoever is running everything, and they make deals with these people and say, hey, if you do XYZ, we're going to have you be the face of the presidency. You know, what do you think? And someone like Trump's gonna be like, yeah, I mean, that's an amazing business decision. Think about how much stuff he's sold since he's been the president.
Yeah.
Shoes, phones,
Yes.
crypto
How much money
coins.
has he been making? Yeah.
Yeah. So when people say, well, Trump is the real deal, he's not making money. He didn't accept his presidency money or his salary. He doesn't have to. Do you see what he's selling, everybody? Like,
Yes.
he's making so much money. I mean, it's a business
true.
opportunity.
So true.
It's crazy.
And just like these alligator Alcatraz prisons are going to be like, it's going to be a private. We all know the private prison industry. It's an industry.
It's all about money.
Money making.
Yes. And no one can deny that part. Another thing, during the governor press conference, I noticed when the press was asking questions, he was kind of stumbling over his words. Like like trying to get a story right. You know what I mean? Like, and then changing, it felt like he was like, he didn't know where to go with what he was about to say. Like, if you know the story and it's a true story, you're not going to stumble over that. You're going to just say it. So that's to me suspicious too.
And there, you never can hear the actual questions either. Like they never put microphones clearly in the audience either.
For the news people or the press.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is annoying. Yeah. trying to think. I think we covered everything I really wanted to say. I mean, I just kind of wanted to get on with you and just voice. I know probably everyone is sick to death of talking about this, and I agree. I'm with
Yes.
you. We're sick of
Yeah.
it. We're gonna move on after this. We're not gonna talk about it again. But I
Yeah.
just felt like we should say something
Mhm.
about it because I just still feel like too many people are falling for it.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's not helping us. We don't need to radicalize both sides of the spectrum. And we also need to realize that both sides are working for the same people. So stop going along with it. Stop being angry with left versus right. Stop blaming the left and blaming the right. And point the blame where it belongs, which is the ones running everything. The
There you
ones that
go.
are,
100%. Yeah.
So I guess that's it. I mean, unless you have any final
That was a
thoughts.
quick one.
Yeah.
Time to unite and stop playing their games.
Yeah. More love. No
Yeah.
hate, more love. That's what we need. We need more love in the world. Well, I guess that's a wrap then.
Okay.
We said what we said. So did your puppy. Your puppy's like, I say what I
They have
said.
something to say. Yeah.
Yeah, they agree. Here, here.
Yep.
All right. Well, until next time. See you guys.
Alrighty.
Love you all.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.